Did you know there are over 3,000 kinds of snakes? And most, being shy, pose no threat to humans, but they are still feared and killed even for frivolous fashion. In his poem Snake, D.H. Lawrence marvels at a snake drinking from a water trough. He succumbs to irrational fear and impulsively throws a log at the very animal he admired moments before. He writes, "And immediately I regretted it. I thought how paltry, how vulgar, what a mean act. I despised myself and the voices of my accursed human education, and I wished he would come back, my snake, for he seemed to me again like a king in exile, uncrowned in the underworld." This is Ingrid Newkirk with Peter, reminding us it's easy to be kind by choosing fake snake over real skin for belts, bags, and shoes.
The information that's out there.
Welcome back to One Life Radio. This is Bernadette with Diamond Gray. I have Avi and Lexi in studio, Jill Lane, DeWone Bennett, and I have Dr. David Young on the line. Before we get to anything, I have a correction. Okay, so Coca-Cola, their net worth is $74 billion, and last year their revenue was $35 billion. So just a correction there, so we keep everything straight. How you doing today, Dr. Young? Dr. David?
Hey, I'm good. I love your discussion about LaCroix. I'm like a LaCroix-aholic.
See?
So, yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah. Well, and it gives you the burn without all the sugar. So, they're just jealous. They're jealous because so many people like LaCroix now. So I always love having you on the air. Miss having you in studio as well. For people just now joining us that maybe don't know you, Dr. David Young is a licensed clinical psychologist and co-founder of Dallas Therapy Alliance, a group practice providing comprehensive and compassionate psychological care. He is also the assistant clinical professor in psychiatry at UT Southwestern Medical Center. One of the coolest guys you're ever going to hear on radio, Dr. David Young. Okay, so today we're talking about aligning with your true self. So, people talk about consciousness. I don't know if they really understand, sometimes what consciousness really is. How would you define it?
Well, I think, consciousness, very simply defined. It's funny, I actually have a book on my shelf whose title is Consciousness Explained. And every time I see it on my shelf, I think, man, what a bold statement. To have a book that purports to explain what consciousness is. I think that it's inherently hard to understand exactly what it is. But the way that I explain it to myself is that it's simply awareness.
Yeah.
It's the awareness that you have of everything that's going on, the awareness you have of your perceptions. And oftentimes we confuse our identity, our consciousness with our perception.
Mm-hmm.
That I am hot, or I am cold, or I am a psychologist, or I am a Muslim, or I am, a mother or a father, or this or that. And these roles that we inhabit describe our experience of what we're doing, what we're up to in our lives. But they don't describe the consciousness that underlies and rests just behind the lens of our perception of what we do and these roles that we play in life. And so I think it's a very important and helpful distinction to try and cultivate within ourselves and really start to play with this idea of the distinction between what it is we do and perceive versus who we really are.
Yeah.
And who we really are is consciousness itself.
Well, I love, I'm reading in this summary that you talk about, if you move from Dallas to New England, does myself change from being a Cowboy fan to a Patriots fan? And is that change in self or is it a change in a role?
Right. I often think, the way that I relate to it is, I'm a psychologist. And so what if for some reason I were to lose my license for practicing psychology? Would the essence of my very selfhood change? I mean, certainly I'd undergo a lot of change and it would be difficult and I'd be wrestling with who I am. But I wonder, a year down the line, would I be if someone asked me, are you a different person than you were when you were a psychologist, I think there would be a central part of myself that would say, no, I've always been the same person.
Yeah. Why do you think so many people, and when I say drugs, I'm saying alcohol too, because I just feel that alcohol kind of gets left out conveniently because it happens to be legal. But you're altering your consciousness when you drink, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
so many people.
LaCroix.
What?
or when we drink LaCroix.
Or beer. But seriously, do you think, like Dr. Andrew Weil did when he wrote the book The Natural Mind, that drugs like marijuana or alcohol or ayahuasca or mushrooms, magic mushrooms, all these things that take us to a higher level of consciousness are just something that is so driven in the human experience?
Yeah, I think, we're always playing with changes in states of consciousness, going from, higher to lower or lower to higher. And oftentimes when we're using these substances to alter consciousness, that's what we're up to. And, a lot of times we're trying to kind of regulate ourselves when we feel really dysregulated, try and change our consciousness.
Well, because people, would you agree with this, that we really, I know it's written here too, like with each passing day, more and more individuals are awakening and seeking enlightenment. What is enlightenment, David?
I think enlightenment is awareness, and awareness comes through freedom from attachments, that we have to detach and disidentify with our experience. And that is a very complicated process. And it's one that we struggle with over the course of our lifetime, and some would say over the course of many lifetimes. In order to cultivate a state of pure awareness and consciousness that is kind of unchanging no matter what's going on, that no matter what's going on, everything is that you're okay with whatever is going on, that you're not getting too attached to the pain or the pleasure of what's going on, which comes from our senses.
Well, if we truly are not who we think we are, how and why does a false sense of self develop in the first place?
I like to think of developmental models to explain how this kind of early on gets started. When we're born, we're kind of born into we're kind of in an undifferentiated state, really a higher state of consciousness when we're initially born, until experience starts to take hold of us and we become a little bit more fragmented within ourselves. But initially, we have these experiences of, eventually early on in childhood, this is mine. This is my binky. This is my pacifier. This is my ball. Mine. And that mine experience starts to morph into, this is me. I am the person who has this. Until, and that, gets more and more complex over the lifetime until it becomes, this is my car. This is my life. This is my profession. Where we kind of, experience gets concretized around these experiences, and it starts to feel like, I am these things. I am these experiences. It's an interesting question to ask yourself. Who are you?
Yeah.
And how might you answer that? And what experiences in your life are you going to point to? And the more you do that, the more you start to realize, wait a minute, all these things are transient. They're ever changing. They're not. There's nothing stable about these things that I say I am.
Well, so what are some practical ways for our listeners to explore their true selves?
I think anything that brings you into the present moment, that frees you from the kind of distracting thoughts and emotions that get in the way of being in whatever's happening and unfolding in the present moment. So mindfulness meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong, exercise, sports, mindful breathing, mindful walking, anything that can bring you into the flow of the now is going to take you out of that over-identification that you usually experience with your experiences.
Yeah, I love talking about this. I miss you. I miss having you in studio. I do. We're going to go to break. Dr. David Young, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Always, seriously.
Pleasure to be with you.
All right. You can find Dr. David Young at Dallas Therapy Alliance. Can't highly recommend him enough. Amazing man. Everyone, stay tuned. You're listening to One Life Radio.
Hi, I'm Laura Bell Bundy for PETA. Every summer, thousands of dogs die from heat stroke after being left alone in hot cars. The inside of a car can reach 100 degrees in minutes, even in the shade with the window slightly open. Keep your dog cool and safe this summer. Never leave them in unattended hot cars. If you see a dog alone in a car during warm weather, call the humane authorities, the police, or do whatever is necessary to get the dog out. His or her life may depend upon it. Thank you.
For more information, visit PETA.org.
Wellbeing Journal is a remarkable bi-monthly health publication esteemed by intelligent readers worldwide. It's available in print or digital, single issues or subscription. Its focus is on living a happy, healthy life and preventing or healing illnesses naturally. Preventing or healing cancer, arthritis, cardiovascular conditions, and digestive issues, as well as nutritional solutions for optimal health are regular subjects. Learn more at wellbeingjournal.com.
Hi, this is Vaughn Eaglin. As a licensed professional counselor and supervisor, I spend my career helping people cope with emotional problems. But today, I want to talk to you about nutrition. People ask me all the time for nutrition and weight loss advice, and I always find myself recommending a raw vegan protein, a food supplement called Warrior Blend by Sun Warrior. I wasn't always active and fit. In fact, I was very overweight as a child, and as a counselor, I must emphasize the importance of the mind-body connection. A clean body helps with a clean mind. Start today with Sun Warrior Blend Raw Vegan Protein. For more information, go to sunwarrior.com and start living clean today.
Today, we're here to tell you about the success of Squatty Potty. Consumers are experiencing the healthful benefits from having the correct posture when eliminating the toxic and harmful fecal waste from their bodies. Now, Squatty Potty has made it portable. Introducing Porta Squatty. Now you can experience the healthful benefits no matter where the road takes you. It easily folds up and fits into a discreet carrying bag the size of a book. Porta Squatty. Available at Bed Bath Beyond, Amazon, or for an exclusive discount of 25% off your entire order, use code ONELIFE at checkout at squattypotty.com.
Did you know a mother rat will dip her paws into cool water and gently smooth the fur around her infants' faces? The babies put their arms around their mother's neck and pay attention while being bathed. Rats and mice fall in love, risk their lives to save their kids, and giggle when tickled. Evan Walker writes of a mouse who died of shock in a trap. His life was a life fully as real to him as ours is to us. This creature, for all the irritation it may have brought as it scampered through closed closets or up some crevice in a wall, was as precious as you or I. He was not a machine that breaks and fails. He felt. His was consciousness, full and real and fragile and precious. This is Ingrid Newkirk with PETA, reminding us that it's easy to be kind, perhaps by not using glue traps.
I love this song. Welcome back to One Life Radio. This is Bernadette with Diamond Gray. I've got Jill Lane in studio with me and DeWone Bennett. Jill Lane's going to be talking about eating clean here in just a couple of minutes. And DeWone Bennett right now is going to be talking about 5 ways to prevent compassion fatigue. DeWone Bennett is a licensed professional counselor with over 11 years of counseling experience from Vallejo, California. DeWone has 2 master's degrees, one in counseling and another in psychology. He is currently in the process of finishing up his PhD in clinical psychology. He is the owner of Healthy Life Interventions Counseling in Oklahoma City, as well as his practice, D. Bennett Counseling here in Dallas. DeWone believes that the key to mental and behavioral success is the ability to master one's self-awareness and emotional control. And I say this all the time. I couldn't agree more. Okay, so 5 ways to prevent compassion fatigue. First of all, what's compassion fatigue? I think I have it.
So compassion fatigue is characterized by physical and emotional exhaustion